There we go. Can you hear us? Yes, I can hear now.
We can.
Yeah. And then also we didn't do the budget solutions.
Thank you. Come back to it 1 minute here. They can hear us?
Yeah, they can
Okay,
hear us.
good. Thank you. You're going to change the screens.
You guys can see what's green, correct, as well?
You got to change to the board? To the camera? The camera?
Oh, yeah, they can. I have it on that camera right there.
I don't see it. I only see that.
Let's see.
I'll let you fix it. Okay, we'll keep going. I see it over to the right. Okay. One of the things that, if we can today, there's a reception here tonight at 4 o'clock for a family that's doing a dinner for a wedding. What do you call it? The
Reception.
rehearsal dinner. Thank you. So we want to close out by 2 o'clock today. So if somebody could make a motion at 2 o'clock to close us out, unless it's just a couple little things, we'd appreciate that to move forward. Hey, see what happens when you show up. So, but thank you for that. Couple things with staff. They've been doing a lot of hard work for us, and we appreciate that. They've been cleaning up the website. The staff is working very, very hard. I feel that about 90% of the people appreciate what they're doing. 10% think or 9% think they're not doing it quick enough, and then there's the 1%. But staff is, we as a board have been here 7 months, and we're working hard to continue to do the right things. And Danny's been here 3 months, and there's been things that we're fixing and we're taking care of. And Danny's working for 443 doors, and he's not complaining. But I see some of it, and we got to give him a little grace to get it done. And the things that bubble to the top that are very, very important, he addresses very, very quickly, but he doesn't neglect anything. He answers emails, and he gets out in the field and does the things he needs to do. So, again, it's, we're making progress as a board and as a staff, and it's a great staff that we have on board here getting the job done. With that, the last thing that I was asked to report on was that as the chair, as the president, I can create an ad hoc committee. And we've created ad hoc committees for some specific purposes. And we just reported on a few of those, some things that are getting done with those. But as the chair, I also disbanded the ad hoc rental committee, home rental committee. And as I did that, and when I did that, that is now a staff responsibility. That's with our chair, with our CAM, and as a board, we'll support him in that. But he's running with that, and we have some rentals out there that are not, and I'll call it, in compliance with our documents. Doesn't make it illegal what they do. It's just not in compliance with our documents. But ultimately, the homeowner is responsible to get those documents filled out and to us for approval. Now, we're not going to use that as an excuse. We're going to follow up and get those documents submitted and do the right things with those rentals. We have many, many good renters out there. I mean, they're our neighbors, and we have many, many good renters out there that have lived here and may live here for a short amount of time or a long amount of time. But I disbanded that, and the chair of that has been out there and asked me why I didn't tell the community at the last meeting. And I did that to save some face for that chair. I did it so that she wouldn't be embarrassed, but she's challenging us out there that we're ignoring rentals, that the rentals are the problem in the community. And the reason I did away with it, I'm going to share with you exactly the reason I did away with that, because that's what she has asked me to do. And I don't want to do this, but I don't know how else to handle it because we continue to get attacked on this. But she is the one that said, I should let the community know why the committee was disbanded. And bottom line is, on Saturday, the 4th of October, she sent the board an email that she's disgusted, disappointed, sad, and scared, and upset that a dog owner would do this to me. In other words, she sent a picture of poop on her driveway, and she wanted it explained to her. And she's addressed this at board meetings, and she went on and on. So I was at the amenity center. I had left there, and I got that email after I left the gym, and I was proceeded up towards her house, and I looked over to the driveway, and I didn't see anything there. And I thought, okay, it got picked up, got taken care of, done. Well, about an hour later, I get an email, and someone reached out to her that, well, maybe it wasn't a dog, maybe it wasn't a dog owner, maybe it was an animal. You know, it happens. We all know there's animal poop out there. So she responded. Now remember, I went up the road, didn't see it in her driveway, continued on, think it's a dead issue. She responded that, yes, I threw it on the road, as I was not having dog poop anywhere on my property, not in my garbage can, not along my sidewalk. If a dog owner can be irresponsible, then so can I. So when I saw that, I went back and I cleaned it up in the road. And I even brought a 2-gallon sprayer to clean it up in the road after I picked it all up. And I thought it was a dead issue, and that's why I disbanded the ad hoc committee. But I did turn around and say, and I used it this way. I basically said, shame on you. And I picked it up and I let her know. So that's why that committee's disbanded. I couldn't have that individual represent us and be out there if they can be irresponsible. So the committee was disbanded. The responsibility hasn't, but we're moving on, and enough said. So with that, we'll continue on. Let's go back to the pledge if we can, just for a minute, since I missed it on the agenda there. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you.
It's a big pile, looked like a bear.
Thanks, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Paul. Let's go to management report. Danny, if you give us updates, please.
Since our last meeting earlier this month, here are a few updates to share. This week alone, I've closed 25 roof violations, which is great progress to see. There are still dirty roofs out there. That's a mix of people, that are communicating with me. They've got it scheduled. It just hasn't happened yet. And of course, there's a select few that haven't responded by cleaning and or communicating to me. I was able to make it out this week to get those photos to attach to their post notice. So that is the next step where they'll be getting a first notice sent to them via email and mail as well. The new water station, I am happy to announce, has been received by the vendor that's going to be installing it, and they have scheduled us for October 28th. So next week we should be seeing that new water device out at the sports courts there. So that's exciting news. The windscreen has been approved by me. They were working on the logo. Of course, given the nature of the windscreen being black, the font had to be changed to white so that way it's visible. So that has been finalized, the measurement, where it's located on the screen. So now it's just a matter of it being finished, created, and then the vendor will get that installed as well. The landscape RFP we touched on already. As I said, it's an ongoing effort. We've met with vendors, and anytime between now and November 5th, which is the deadline, we expect to see those proposals come in. As a reminder, the parking lot project at the amenity center is coming up on November 3rd and 4th. This will affect traffic and traffic flow throughout the community, but we'll be sharing more information to come. I have some tentative ideas, but once I work and finalize those, we'll send out a community notification so you're aware. The acoustics and painting project previously approved at last board meetings are moving forward. I'm in the process of getting vendors set up, in our account payable system, so that way we can make the necessary deposit to get them on the schedule. The resistant electrical panel has been replaced, and Aqua Mechanics is scheduled to be here today at some point. I don't have a time today to finish some additional work outside of the electrical panel that is complete. So I anticipate the resistance pool to hopefully be operable for this weekend. It's been a long time coming, so I appreciate the patience as we work through that. The amenity center reservation, Wayne did touch on already, but just to reemphasize, it is reserved for a private event today from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. They'll be in post-board meeting to do their setup as allowed. Lastly, the landscape committee was out in the community on Wednesday. They'll continue to be walking areas to identify project opportunities for the coming year. As a reminder, they may use easement to access certain spots throughout the property. And what I mean by that is if you see them walking, in between your house and the neighbors, it's likely just to access a part of the common element. So I just want to give you a heads up. If you have any concerns or issues with that, please do reach out to me. But I'd like to be able to see that the landscape committee can peacefully conduct their research so we can identify areas of improvement throughout the community. That's my report. Oh, and one more thing I forgot, a sheriff update. So I do have a message out to the sheriff department to request a more meaningful update because I do realize the update provided had been rather vague. But I just want to remind everyone that we are willing to work with the sheriff's office and any requests they may have, whether it's footage, activity reports for FOB, so on and so forth. To date, I've not gotten an update, so when I do get a response from them, I will of course share that. And then as an ongoing effort, Brandon and I, while we're not investigators, we're not the local law enforcement, we will do what we can in-house just to make sure if there's anything going on that maybe shouldn't be. And what I mean by that is maybe reviewing the camera footage, which isn't done on a daily basis. Obviously, it's time consuming, but we'll try to be more mindful to do that, the FOB activity, so on and so forth. Thank you.
Any update on the mulch?
Thank you, Lynette. So earlier this week, I communicated that they were scheduled to start. The vendor did reach out to me that they were behind. They did promise, and I'm learning to have not taken their promise, that they would be here this week. I do have a message out to them today as well to see if they're coming today. Hopefully they do. It would actually work out if they don't come during this board meeting, so that way I can be out there to make sure they're, doing their job correctly. I do have a running list of homes that don't want their mulch laid out and just delivered. So I would like to make sure I'm available for that, so to communicate that as well. So as long as they don't come during this board meeting, I'm good, but hopefully they do come today.
We are missing our technical AV person. Danny, they're still having this photo out in the community. That's what they're still seeing. Thank you. We'll keep going. I'm sorry. Well,
said that there have been 25 violations.
Yeah, so out of the violations that were issued for roof cleanliness specifically, what is that? So far, 28 of those violations out of the total amount have been closed, meaning they've cleaned their roof. Oh yeah, certainly. Sorry for, yeah, so they were all dirty roofs violations.
thank you. Good, thank you. All right. Next item is old business. Homeowners turf update. I'm going to reach out to the CAM to see if we have a timeline to install the first round of turf.
Yes, so I realize this has also been a long time coming. I appreciate the patience. I do have a meeting scheduled with Napier first thing Monday morning at 10 a.m. And the purpose of that meeting is just to catch them up to speed. They were awarded the project at the last board meeting. The initial research, the work, the measurements were done between myself and Tom with Duval. So there's a necessary step of getting Napier up to speed and understanding what it is that they were just awarded. So Monday morning, I'm meeting with them so that way we can get the ball rolling as far as, them understanding the expectation. And then, of course, naturally, they have to order the sod, get it delivered. But I do hope that we can get that started soon.
And we hope that the sprinkler system's in good working order before that's installed as well. So that's probably another thing that we're gonna be
Yeah,
looking into.
exactly. So, all the while it's kind of been I don't want to say the can's been kicked down the road. It works in our favor, right? So all the irrigation work that's going on between while we're waiting is obviously just going to improve the chances of the sod being successful and growing. Of course, the individual lots that are getting the sod, the irrigation will be looked at special and adjusted to ensure there's adequate watering outside of the normal watering schedule as required.
So in the community, we're seeing a little bit of a dry spot here. And if you start to see browned areas that aren't getting sprinklers, and we've had this in the past, start sending those with your address. If you could send a picture, that helps. And title it irrigation to Danny. They are working on a program for them to receive these requests. But send that to Danny. So we're starting to document those and we can start to narrow down those things. They do view it on the monthly irrigation check, but this is just kind of keep things moving.
I just want to touch on that. Napier was on site today. They usually aren't here on Fridays, but they were here looking at some things, including some brown spots, while they're here looking at specific items as well. And then the work order system, as of this morning, I did talk to an individual by the name of Matt, who works for Napier Sprinkler, who is making the work order system. So it's going to be tailored to the community. Last week, while Brandon was out, Talia did send out a communication to residents that we don't have their contact information inside of our programs. So what we're looking for is if you did receive an email, please do respond. The purpose of wanting cell phone numbers is so that way they can build it into the program so you can get updates and alerts from Napier about a work order that you will submit. But while we wait for those residents that, we're seeking that information, they're continuing to build out with the information we do have. So if you got an email, please do respond. It's legitimate. It's not a spam email or anything like that. We're just trying to populate all that information into the system so it can roll out.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Come up to the mic and turn it on for us. Go ahead.
And then if you just tap it on, the red light will show.
We'll hold it for a second.
There we go.
1 second tap. Perfect. You're on. Thank you.
Debbie Noble,
Go ahead.
Rosa Court. Two questions. The water on the tennis court, did they figure out today what happened? Because that was like a flood.
So far yet today, I've not been able to get a response on that. I know that George responded with turning off that main water line so it wouldn't continue to be a problem. But after this board meeting, I do plan on getting with the vendor to remedy the problem. So I do apologize. I just haven't been able to get to it yet this morning.
Good. I just was wondering. And my second question, I'm on the landscape committee and we were out looking on last Wednesday on the common area between,
Okay, we've just moved to agenda item 7C. Go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, it was just a question with what he was talking about. My question was Sevilla and Magoria, the common area in the back by the fence, or some of those sprinklers obviously are not working, but the people might not know that because it is common area. So
So
I-
I'll get with Napier to focus on the common areas as well to determine what it is. That's either if it's not working or if it's due to the slope and the irrigation that is coming out is running right down and maybe vegetation can't retain that. So we'll look at that most
Okay.
definitely.
yeah, several
Thank-
people, we were out looking,
Yeah, anything you
wanted to
see-
know.
Anything you see, document and send it in. and
Yeah,
we'll get 'em.
yeah, I did
Thank you.
talk to him about several of them.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
Next item is agenda item 7C, amendments to the EHL documents. The amendments we approved at the last meeting are in the hands of the attorney and they're working on those. One of the board members said we'd put this on the agenda for discussion. I'll go to Lynette, see what.
Yeah, I just think, I think it's great, as far as, the parking issue. I think as long as if you're just changing the amendments to statutory language to update it from the Florida statutes, just to comply with the new Florida statutes, then you can group them together. But the parking, we approved that back on July 25th of this year. We approved the parking, that it would be no parking 24 hours with all these restrictions. So I think if we're going to change the substantial content of anything, it should be separate line items when voting for it.
At our last meeting, and thank you for that, Lynette. At our last meeting, we had an agenda item to move forward with the list of items that we would group. Within that included no parking anytime to read no parking 12 midnight to 6 a.m. And the purpose of that is that changes our documents. It fixes our documents with the way this community operates. It's a no-brainer. We're just trying to fix it so we don't have to be out there towing cars or citing people parking between 6 a.m. in the morning and midnight. And so as a board, we looked at it, we made a motion, and it was unanimous to move ahead. I'm just pointing that out as the.
Well, and I did mention at the time, because I was confused, the 12 to 6, because again, what we just approved in July said no parking at any time, but 12 to 6 towing. And so then when you brought that up, I said, wasn't it supposed to be 12 to 6 towing? And you really didn't make a comment. So my question is I think it should be 2 separate votes. I think statutory changes could be grouped to one, but the parking issues should be separate in the 2 issues and let them vote on it. Because another thing that some other residents have told me I've never knew about is some places, subdivisions, because of the big trucks, the dumpster trucks and everything, like on odd days, you have to you park on the odd side of the street only, so that eliminates double parking side by side. So I just think this is a major issue that should not be grouped in with statute changes. That's
Okay, so with what you're saying is that Jack made the motion, you seconded the motion last time, it passed unanimously. Because you were in the affirmative, you can make a motion to whatever you want right now.
Well, I'd like to make
See
a
if we
motion.
get a second.
Jack actually wrote this compliance document and we approved it in July of this year. And so at the board meeting. So I would like to say, if we're going to change, my motion is if we're going to change from what we just approved in July of this year as a board, as part of the compliance documents, which is very clear, then we should make that a separate line item when voting.
Okay, what's your motion? And then we'll talk
Motion
about it.
that make it a separate line item for the residents to vote on that. On the 2 parking issues, they should be separate give them, so you're having a group for the Florida.
Okay, what's your motion?
Mhm.
So we can get a second to it. I didn't hear your motion. You got out here,
Okay,
Lynette,
okay.
please.
I
Tell me
make
what your
a
motion is.
That we stay with what we adopted on July 25th and allow the residents to vote on it in March if they want that parking change made.
Okay, and do we have a second to that? Do we have a second to it? Okay, we don't have a second, so the motion dies. And we continue on. Okay, we don't have a second, so we'll move on to the next agenda item. Come on up. Come on up. Do you have a question, please? Come on up. We can't hear you, please. Come on up. Thank you. Thank you. Identify yourself, please.
And
Come to the mic so we can hear you. Thank you.
my question was, we don't know what July says, so they're asking us to vote, but
July has
somebody else knows.
nothing, July has nothing to do with what we're proposing to vote on at the next election.
but how about right now? I thought she was
We're
asking.
not voting on any changes. We've already approved this to move forward for a vote by the community at our next general meeting.
Is that what do you agree with that?
I made a motion and it was denied.
Yeah, because we didn't know what it said.
Well, you can look at your compliance documents from before.
Okay,
it's
let's
in
not
there.
get in a discussion here, please. Thank you.
But just because I'm a little confused. So it's that you wanted two things to be voted on, and one would be what we at the last meeting decided to have to put up for vote as a change to our documents. And then the second thing would be for the community to vote on the July 25th document.
In clarification, it would be 3 things on the ballot.
Okay,
One
let's
is-
not revisit it. I'm sorry. We had a motion that was on the floor. It died. We have no reason to be discussing it, so we need to move on. But that was what we did in July.
Well, I
was
misunderstood it.
affirming-
I would have never supported it, but that was my stupidity.
What we did in July was affirming a fee schedule that Jack cleaned up. We're looking to move forward beyond that fee schedule with this election to the community. Community can vote it up or down. I mean, that's the whole, yeah. No, because that'll actually clean up any document in there going forward. That we're trying to do, clean up our documents. Okay, let's keep moving. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lynette, for that. Next item is common area landscape, and basically the big thing there is they're doing their survey, correct?
correct. Yeah, so you'll see the landscape committee intermittently as scheduled. They'll communicate with me so they can use the golf court or golf cart rather. And we'll send out reminder emails that should you see somebody, near your property using the easements, it's just for the purpose of them to access different common areas.
So this is landscape committee out there doing surveys to see what our needs continue to be in the community and the common areas. So thank you for that. And the work that was just recently done is looking really, really good. So good. All right, let's keep moving on. Thank you. We're in new business. We need a bid award for irrigation repairs. This is to Duval based on the
You don't mean Duval. I think you mean
I'm sorry,
Napier.
thank you. Napier. Dan, you want to speak to it? I'll entertain a motion if somebody wants to make a motion to get started.
I'll make a motion to evaluate or vote on this proposal.
Repeat your motion.
I'm making a motion to vote on whether or not to accept this proposal. Does that sound appropriate?
No.
No,
We
I make a motion that we accept Napier's proposal.
have a motion. We have a second then?
Oh, sure.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve a $44,000 400 estimate quote from Napier based on the hydraulic report, and any discussion on it? Okay.
I'll just add something. So, initially I took pause. It's a lot of money, right? But we know we have to do it. Hydrologic said you really want to do it. You could be voiding the warranty on your equipment, right? That's one. But the other thing is, we also selected Napier based on their hourly rate and reputation. So we probably don't need to get multiple bids. They're our vendor of choice for irrigation repairs. And I thought their proposal was really detailed and well thought out.
Okay. Any other comments from the board? Any comments from the community? Any comments online? Anything, Dan? Raise their hand. Nope. Okay. We'll call a question. All those in favor of approving Napier for $44,400.85, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Unanimous. Thank you for that. We'll get that work done. We're making good progress with Napier. Getting things done for us. Next one is, as we continue to move along, we need to discuss the contract with Duval. Duval we have a 30-day notice to them that we have to give. If we need a motion to end their contract effective November 30th. And as we are out to bids for a new company, they're welcome to bid. They've been at the bid meetings. I'm sure they will bid, but we need a motion to do away with their contract effective November 30th.
So I'd like to add something. The new contract will be somewhat different from the old contract. So we would have to renew the contract anyway. It wouldn't just be a matter of it rolling over into 2026 should we keep Duval. So for me, at least, I do consider them to be a viable option still, but the contract will change. So it's not inappropriate, in my opinion, to vote to cancel the contract because it will be a new contract that's awarded.
Was that a motion?
And I will make a motion to vote on this.
Repeat your motion.
Oh, I'm making a motion to vote on giving Duval 30 days, right?
Canceling the contract.
I second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion from the board? Any discussion from the public? Well,
Afternoon, everyone. Paul Todorovich, 123 Redondo. I've owned multiple homes in 6 different states. My yard has never looked worse. As I said in my email to y'all earlier this week, it's absolutely pitiful. But what's out front here is far worse. And how we can entertain any bid from Duval just kind of boggles my mind. They have shown that they're not up to the task. And I hope we've got someone in place when they leave. If it's November 30th, we got to move fast.
And all the bidders are aware of that they'll have about 15 days to mobilize, and they all say they will do it and can do it.
Okay, that's reassuring. Were you gonna?
I was gonna basically make the
Yeah.
same comment.
Okay,
So
Thank you
you want us to cancel this contract is what I'm hearing.
I'd vote yay.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody online? Okay, we'll call the question. All those in favor of canceling the contract, your landscape contract with Duval, effective November 30th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It's unanimous. Thank you all. And Danny, you'll get that out in time so they get their 30-day
Yep.
notice. Thank you. Next one on here is Danny sent us an email. We were talking about dates coming up between now and the first of the year, and some things that we need to do as a board to be in compliance. Actually, I'm ahead of myself. Let me hold that a minute. This portion of meeting dates for 2026, I'm coming back to agenda item 8C. We need to have an annual meeting, those votes will be collected that we send out to the community. We need to think about regular meetings for next year. And we need to think about a town hall for our amendments. And I'm not looking for a decision today, but to think about this and look at your calendars for next year. First of all, our regular meetings, in November and December, we'll be having one meeting per month. All right, is what we'll be doing as a board based on holidays. So we'll be having the first, second Tuesday of the month meeting. We won't be having the fourth Friday meeting. But think about 2026, can we go to one meeting a month, and what day of the week and what time of day that should be? So, because we'll need to establish that going in before the end of the year. And then with that, our annual meeting, we need to pick a date for that based on being compliance, getting notices out, and we can make a decision of that at our next meeting. Somebody said it March. I don't know why it was moved to March. I don't know. So that's why I want to have discussion about that at our next meeting. Can we have it in February, early February? I don't know. So, but Dan, you'll continue to research with that is why that is. It just says we have to have one. I don't think we need to delay it till March, but think about that. Maybe somebody knows the reasons. And then looking at some kind of a town hall meeting to present to the community the amendments that we're proposing. And we did that last year with the Twin Villas, and it's usually well attended, and let people ask questions and know what they're voting on. So those are really items to be thinking about, and we'll keep those on the agenda to come back. That comment?
Well, they've been earlier in the year, but for some reason, I don't remember. Do you remember, Mike, why Tom Oregano moved it to March for some reason? They planned it January, February, but there was a reason he moved it to March, but it's not the norm.
Too many things that were happening.
That's what I was thinking. There was a reason for it. I don't remember.
But you had a new vendor.
That was the reason. That was the reason.
Yeah.
Too many things going on.
So it doesn't mean that we can't have it in February, March. It was just some exceptional overload that year.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank
Yeah.
you for that. All right,
Mhm.
so we can do it, move it.
There's
to
no
a
reason
date
why you
that's
can't
very
do February.
convenient. Works. Good. Thank you for that. As we continue on, we'll bring that back. We have a couple of committee items here today. We have a landscape committee. They have two things that they brought before us. Is our landscape chair going to speak to these? The first one is use of landscape stones.
Hi, Debbie Noble again, chairperson of landscape. And we were asked by Wayne and by the board to look into the rocks or the stones that are all around the neighborhood. And we were more concerned about the safety issues regarding those where the stone meets the grass. And we researched that, and we've been back and forth, and we've looked at different things and looked at different, looked for we need a separation between the grass and the rocks, because the lawnmowers, we were concerned about them hitting those rocks, especially the small, I guess I want to say like gravel rocks, or pea stone, that was a safety factor. And we didn't want the mulch, we wanted to have something so that the mulch didn't wash away. So we did a lot of different things and came up with several different things to discuss. In addition, we also looked at the walkways and the stones between people's house where there was a lot of water and grass wasn't growing. And we wanted to be able to keep the landscaping look good and to guard our plants and the shrubs from damage of the mowers and trimmers, and to redirect water off and to prevent erosion. So we did some research. We came up with some different ideas that we're presenting to the board. Do you want, that's,
Deb, if you could stay there a minute.
I have a question on that too.
Yeah, if you could stay there a minute. We have, I believe, a proposal A, Exhibit A, which is the landscaping along the shrubs and along the grass. Correct. Okay. And then
that's one.
Exhibit B is stepping stones. So for the board, I'd like to separate these because of some information that came from ARC, if I may, and they should be separated anyways.
Yeah.
So let's look at Exhibit A first, if we can. And Deb, just quickly, did you happen to identify how many homes this will affect and how many will have to make some changes?
I think, I'm not sure the exact number because we kind of looked at it and then we went back. I would say 15, maybe 15 to 18 homes. I'm not exactly, I'm not exactly sure.
Out of 100 that are using some stone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's our big concern is where the stone meets the grass, butts up right together. Some people have an area, a spread, like area of mulch. Some people have put up like a little, one of those black plastic barriers. Some people have used large enough rocks that won't get caught into the lawnmowers. So we kind of had to separate all that and kind of talk a little bit about it. And so we've kind of done that on the Exhibit A, and we just said that stone, do you want me to read it?
Go ahead.
Okay, I didn't know what you wanted. Okay.
That's fine.
Main thing is we wanted to create a separation from a grass lawn and washing away of mulch, and be concerned with the safety and still look good. So the landscape stone, we said, should be placed 6 to 8 inches from the edge of the lawn and used with edging stones, pavers, or black landscape edging to prevent contact with lawnmowers and trimmers. And this was primarily a safety area, so that these little rocks and things didn't become projectiles. We said no boulders, pea gravel, or the glass stones. And we looked into research to get the kind of rocks. We were looking at stones. Stones must be a minimum of 2 inches in diameter, which is what we proposed. We couldn't find exactly what that name of that was. We went to several places and they all just basically said 2 inches would be approximately what we should be looking for. We also said, well, then the other is Exhibit B, so I'll wait on that.
Okay, let me, this is where go ahead, Renee.
So I'm a little confused. So say it's the grass stone situation. Are you saying that, so you'll have some grass and then 6 to 8 inches of just mulch and then the stripping or edging in stones?
You could we talked about the black plastic molding.
Right up against the grass? Or do you have to go 6 inches away from the grass for that black plastic molding?
Okay,
It wasn't clear.
Yeah, let me do this. I'm going to take a liberty as the chair here. We did receive, and when I'm reading this part about no boulders and looking at the entire package, which is great work, and thank you and your committee for it. I'd like to refer this back to committees, and I say committees, because we just got an email from ARC just with some questions about it, because they've been approving some things that are conflicting here. So I'd like to push it back to the committees if we
And then
can.
I could ask my questions in an email form and they could clarify.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and because this is gonna be a little more discussion, and again, because it's coming back with ARC, I'd like to be able to do that.
Well, and
So-
I was going to make the same comment. I have a fence and the restrictions were 6 to 12 inches away from the fence. I had to have mulch. They were specific as to what I had to put in there. A minimum of 6 and no more than 12 to keep the lawnmowers away from my fence. So I think, it would be helpful, I would think, that give us what is acceptable in that gap.
Okay.
That would be helpful to me because there's nothing that states that.
And that's the reason to meet with ARC, okay, because they've been applying some different things,
So
so.
want us to meet with our?
Yeah, set it up if you would. They know it's coming, based on the letter they sent us. And can you share that letter with Deb too,
Yeah,
please?
yeah.
Yeah. And we just got
Provide
that
you-
today, so great work. And this is why we have these meetings and discuss these things.
So another comment about the edging. The edging should be tall enough. So I guess the edging is like 4 inches high typically. So maybe have 2 inches above the ground, because sometimes the edging just ends up getting buried and then it's useless.
Yes, that was the concern we talked about.
Okay.
So maybe specify a height above the ground for the edging for safety.
Okay, the only issue we ran into with that over time. it
But-
kind of
But then it
sank.
has to be, readjusted.
We didn't know how much detail to go in with.
No, but I think the height part is important. Otherwise it's useless.
And
Okay.
also,
Deb, can you stay up there? And I need to move to, because we're under a
The-
deadline today and not trying to cut anybody off, but I need to. The donation standards for benches for the community, if you could just spend a minute on that.
can I make a quick comment on the
Go ahead.
landscaping? Is they are responsible if they're using decorative rock and and adding more mulch, that we won't have that in the routine mulching, that they're responsible
yeah.
to do it at least once or twice a year, their own mulching on their specifics added decor.
Correct.
That should be in there too.
Okay. The bench, okay. It was brought to us that somebody wanted to do a memorial bench for the dog park. And so then we discussed it and where we thought, and we kind of left it. We have pictures or we had information on the standard Exhibit A, the bench donation standards. And we researched it and found this Laguna Beach. So that all of the benches would be in the community would be somewhat similar.
Uniform.
So there was consistency and we wanted to get benches that were not wood because they deteriorate, the plastic, whatever the, resin. So, and then a recycled plastic is this particular one. Now the dog park they have a darker brown color. So we said if it was in the darker brown color, they make it in a dark brown. We liked a little bit better, a little lighter than that, for the rest of the community if somebody chose. And, people can put toward a bench, or they can buy the entire bench and it just has to be approved, where it is, the location has to be approved because people may have a certain area they want to put a landscape bench. And we think it's a great idea, but we have to work with the donor on their location.
Okay. Can we get a motion to approve this? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion by the board. Discussion by the community. Anything online?
Nope.
Okay, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. Carried unanimous. Anyway, we'll work with you on this, but good work. It does allow people to donate benches to the community and just work with ARC and the standard for them. So it's a good enhancement for our community. Good, thank you. Next item, as we continue to move this along, is safety infrastructure. That's your photo, Danny. There you go. Infrastructure is recommending under mailbox safety, we because of the concerns for pedestrians, because of the concerns for bicycles, because of the concerns of people at the mailbox, to move forward testing, I repeat, testing what you see up on the screen. test these barriers to keep cars away from and off the sidewalk at the mailbox. It's a safety concern. It was talked about by safety 2 and 3 years ago. This committee has moved forward with it. And it's a test. We see how we want to handle it in the future, whether it's ballards, whether it's could be flower pots, if that was something we chose to do. We have had a car hit those mailboxes in the past, drove into them and did thousands of dollars worth of damage. It's not going to stop a car from going through those, but it's providing safety for our residents. So we need a motion to approve. This is a trial period to see what it looks like, see what kind of comments we get back from the community on it. We would certainly go out there and say, please parallel park, be courteous and all those things that go with it, park in the parking lot. But it's a trial basis to see what it will do.
Can we ask questions now or wait?
Why don't you make a motion, somebody, and then we can vote it up or vote it down, or?
Would make a motion to open the discussion.
All right, we have a motion for discussion. We have a second.
This is tough. All right, second for discussion.
Motion and a second for discussion.
What would
Comments?
you, I guess, what would you call success? Do you have kind of a measure of merit or a way to quantify that?
No.
But
the
just try to describe then what you would call success.
Well, success is that cars are not parked across the sidewalk, interfering with the sidewalk. Cars are not up against the mailboxes. Cars give people at the mailbox in the front row some room and don't pull up behind them across the sidewalk. We shouldn't be blocking sidewalks.
Can we put in signs that say no parking, standing,
I was going to
idling?
suggest parallel parking only because they're going to be confused. They're still going
Yeah,
to be
they're
going.
gonna
into
stick
there
out
and
into
then
the
stick
street.
out. I think if we're going to put those up there, we need a sign that says parallel parking only.
That's my concern, is that they're going to be sticking out into
They're
the
going to
street.
do it anyway. So put parallel parking only.
Or no
And
parking at all?
well, you
Well,
don't want to put no,
Chelsea's got to do it.
you need
The
room
mail
for the
lady.
mail
Handicap.
service, and you need
Oh,
room
and
for
the-
handicap. And we discussed all those things back in safety at one time. And we can put up, before these get put up, we'll put out a notice from the CAM that parallel parking, park in the parking lots. We can put a sign up out there that says parallel parking only attached to them. This is not going to cost us any money. This is temporary to see the value of it. And we'll see how many comments we get from the community, because we're soliciting comments.
This might be going a little too far, but can we put parallel parking only reserved for mailbox and handicap? This is a two-way street. I don't know. I don't know. Parallel parking only would clarify it.
I think parallel is good. They could pull in their parallel, or people
But
can
you
park
need to
along.
tell them what they're expected to do. So I'd put a sign up there.
Make sure you have handicap access.
Okay, we have any more comments from the board?
You're bad. I make a motion that we.
Well, we have a motion on the floor.
Oh,
Well, it was actually for discussion, but okay.
Yeah.
I'll be correct. Go ahead.
I'll modify the motion. Make a motion that we put in, what do you call the ballards, with a sign that says parallel parking only.
Okay, do we have a second? The seconder agree with that?
I guess Mike and I are thinking about ballards and no parking.
You've got the mailbox and handicap people. You can't do that, in my opinion.
So
But is that really a parking space up there?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
That's actual
Supposed-
parking?
They designed it for parallels, what Taylor Morrison told me. That was the intent.
But
here's the thing. If we get too
It's not
crazy,
marked for parking though, right?
who's going to enforce it?
Well,
Who's going to police it?
Well, it's like anything else. You have to hope people will respect what it says. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you have to, after a while, you have to trust your neighbors. 80% of them are going to respect it,
Absolutely.
20% are not. You can't deal with the 20%.
Well, I guess, certainly there's no cost to this trial,
No
right?
cost. The sign won't cost anything. He'll laminate signs.
So really my concern is if they continue to park perpendicular to the bank of mailboxes, they'll create even more obstruction in the street.
Len,
So that's, I think that's the only thing that could make
But
a bad
But
outcome.
that's really not more obstruction. When I pull up there, I don't cross the sidewalk. All
I
right.
don't either.
And I'll actually leave mine stick out. and I'll put my four ways on. They would still be in what would be considered a parking lane if they were doing that. We can't control everything. I mean, we just can't.
We can't.
And we just want people to be careful, use their head, preferably parallel park in the parking lot. I'm just throwing some things out there.
May I make another suggestion? Don't start it until after they get done paving the parking lot, because people will need to park in there to walk over and get their mail. I park a lot of times in there to walk over and get my mail. So wait until after they're done with the paving and then do the trial.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's certainly low cost, right? And if the outcomes are terrible, hopefully it'll be
We're just
obvious. Yeah.
There is no cost.
Yeah.
Danny's got to make one
But-
sign of laminate.
But I'm just trying to see, is it a designated parking area? Is it somewhere posted that it's parking? Because I don't see,
Right,
there's no.
Because there's no parking anywhere in our community.
There's only one place, there's no parking in the community. And that's on the bend in front of the dog park. And it's about 50 feet of no parking. There are no other no
Yeah,
parking.
no, but as
signs.
far as the design of our community, in its origination, there was no parking anywhere except for the amenity center. So when the plans were approved by the county, it was no parking anywhere except the amenity center. So I'm not sure that that is designated parking. We've just been doing it.
Can we just put a sign that says authorized vehicles only, meaning the post office truck can park there and leave?
Handicap, you gotta have handicap.
But if it's
parking.
not really a parking space, can't we put a handicap space in the amenity center all the way on the end and just paint it handicapped? And that's where the person.
There is the ramp.
I
There is the handicap ramp.
Because if there has to be handicap, shouldn't there be a sign there that says handicap parking?
You're right. You're right.
Should be. Else anybody could park there. I
Do
don't
we-
know what- I'd rather put a handicap parking sign there that says handicap parking only, and that's it. And then nobody
or
else. can
post
park there.
office,
Yeah.
And
Postal service.
authorized vehicle.
postal
But-
service or handicap, that would work
I'd be
too,
happy.
Mike.
But people are gonna pull up there parallel and park.
80% of
There'll
the
be a
people
sign that
won't
says
though. I mean, 80%.
Yeah.
All right, if that,
Well, you know,
my goal is to get it up there. Whatever
this was a
length
motion
goal,
just
I'm good for
to
it.
talk about these and see what would happen, right? And it's zero cost. It's not a permanent thing. We're not ripping up our pavers. I feel like we could do more. But if this does no harm,
Doesn't know.
I'm not inclined to say no. If it becomes obvious that it creates more of a problem or a different problem, we'll just take them down.
You could put parallel parking, handicap, and post office only.
Oh, yeah, no, I think we should do more and better. But again, this is
I mean, try
zero
it, see
cost.
how it works, but after they do the paving.
So is your motion?
Okay, my motion is to make it parallel parking only with designated signs that say handicap and postal service, and do not do it until after the paving's completed.
Okay, does a seconder agree to that? No. Okay.
I'll make a different motion, and that is for a trial of the bollards with no signage at this point, because I'm not sure. I mean, these temporary bollards are not likely to be the permanent solution. If we think that they're the cat's meow and they do everything, we may put permanent ones in, right? And so the signage proposed about parallel parking, that may not be in the end what I would choose or what Mike would choose. We would probably want to prohibit parking except for handicap and mail vehicles. So if we're going to do something more permanent that costs money, let's wait. But I am happy to give this a try and see what happens.
Point in parallel parking was for handicap and service people, not anybody else.
Okay.
The parallel parking was to tell the service people and handicap people they had to park parallel, not for anybody else.
And down the road, that may be a permanent solution that we choose, but I say not to vote on that right now. And really, at the moment, I make a motion to vote on trying these ballards out.
So does the motioner agree to that?
With
Any
this
seconds?
thing.
So we put them up and we try it.
Yeah, any
We're
seconds?
saying,
No?
I'm a second, you say?
Yeah, any seconds?
I'll second what's put in front of us today as an action item.
But nothing permanent, yeah,
Just this trial.
right.
Just the trial.
Okay, so we got a second.
okay, any other discussion?
No, we beat that one to death.
Okay, anything from the public?
Uh-oh. No,
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
and then,
No.
and now I have to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
I think we can. Hold on one second.
What? You're the one who said you wanted to adjourn it at 2.
The only thing I have just that we just need to talk about is November 7th is we're going to have a First Friday, and we're going to have a meet and greet with KW staff. Halloween event is next Saturday. Does anybody else have any announcements that are important within this? Anybody? Next board meeting is November the 11th. And it won't be,
The 13th.
I'm sorry, the 13th. 2 days after Veterans Day. Thank you. Anybody got anything else, just to be sure?
What town?
Go ahead, then.
What is the date of the Halloween?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just announcing it.
It's on
Yeah.
October
So last
31st, I believe.
Friday or Saturday, I think it is. I'll look
No,
at
it's
that.
Friday, the 31st.
Yeah.
Do we have a second to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Post same sign, carried unanimous. Thank you all. Thanks for coming. Thanks for those online. Appreciate it. Good work.